live from the Counterpunch Media Mobile Studios in Grand Blanc, Michigan. It's time for real lives, real families, real fitness. It's time for Derek Noel Fitness.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Derek Noel Fitness Live. We are back. First episode since the beginning of January. Just giving me 1 second while I load this up and get this shared real quick. And while I'm at it, you can be at it too. If you could just give this a quick share on your Facebook, that would be awesome, and I would really appreciate it. Then you can also ask questions. So if you're checking this out, if you have any questions, I know it's been a month since I've been on the air. You can make sure that you drop them in the comments below, or you can always give us a phone call a little bit. I'll talk about that in just a minute. But just getting the last little bit going here. We're going to have a good show today, though. I'm really pumped about it. I'm excited to be back. We took a little bit of time off to help kind of recenter and refocus and get some things planned out, which are going to be really, really cool. Yeah, here we go. So, like I said, you can always feel free to drop the comments below, and I will see them, and we're going to go ahead and get the show on the road. So, what have I been up to? What has Derek Noel Fitness been up to in the past month? Well, a lot of brainstorming and planning and trying to hash some things out. I am actually currently in the middle of figuring out some times where I can go and interview some different really awesome people, because I really feel like the content where I get to speak with other coaches is a really, really good way to bring some value to everyone who's watching. Because in the end, really all I care about is bringing value and hoping that you can actually learn something out of these shows. And I get that I can sometimes come off kind of like an instructor or things like that. But just know that it's all because I just want to make sure that you have all of the knowledge that you need in order to become the best human being you can, without any of the bull crap of the marketing in the fitness industry or anything like that. I'm very unbiased when it comes to that, and I like to call out the bull crap where I see it, which our topic today is actually one of those things. And this one runs deep. But just keep that in mind when we're going through. If you ever have any questions about different products, you can go ahead and drop that in. And remember, if you can, just drop a hello. Let me know that you are watching, that you're checking it out, and any questions that you might have, or even questions I have about the topic later on, I would love to be able to answer those things. I think I'm going to do kind of a series of how I'm doing in how I do this episode. So I have adequately titled this episode the Multivitamin episode. I really want to be super blunt when I'm talking about the marketing, or not marketing, when I'm talking about the topic at hand. I'm not super worried about what we're calling the title, so something nice and easy like the multivitamin episode. If you ever wanted to go back and listen, you can literally look for the episode called the multivitamin episode, and you'll get exactly what you need. I'll be also talking about other things closely related to the multivitamin towards the end of the show. Mainly what the different common ingredients are and stuff like that. But again, I'll get into that. The bigger thing is what multivitamins actually are and what their purpose is. Hey, Heidi, I miss these too. I'm excited to be back every Sunday. We're going to be knocking these out. It's going to be awesome. And the first person that I'm going to be having for an interview is awesome. I'm not trying to say he's kind of a big deal, because that's stealing a line, but he's going to be an awesome first guest of the year, and I can't wait to be able to share some of the knowledge that he has with everyone else. I'm not going to name any names yet, because it might end up I end up interviewing someone else first, because he's a really busy guy, but I am super, super pumped about it. And he's got some really cool clients too. I'm not going to, again, go into any names, because that's on him and privacy and things like that. But just know that you're going to want to listen to that one when we have that going, and I'm going to make sure I talk about that one a lot. So, this is episode 34. The last episode, 33, I believe was the first, actually, I think July 5th, where we were talking about planning on how to plan for 2020. So make sure, if you still are having a hard time with that, go back, check out that episode, and all of the episodes beforehand. It's going to be a really good time. So we have the multivitamin episode here, And as you have questions, remember we do actually have a phone line now. So if you would like to call me up and give a little chat, doesn't necessarily have to be about this, but if you have a question, I would love to be able to hear from you. You can always give us that phone call. That phone number is 810-412-5999. The phone lines will be open probably about 10 after, so if you could hang out and call starting around then, that would be awesome. I would love to be able to hear from it. Make sure you give this video a like, share, and comment. If you could go subscribe to our YouTube channel, that would be awesome. And let's get the show on the road. Like I was saying, this is called the multivitamin episode. So we're going to be talking everything multivitamins. It's funny because I told my producer that we were talking about this, and he was like, I have no idea how you're going to do that for 30 minutes, but okay. And he's about to find out. So we got to talk about what a multivitamin is. Literally, you have multivitamin. It's a supplement that contains one or more vitamins. That is a very broad topic. Typically, most of them, so people have like their one-a-days and their Centrums and their things like that. If you're a bodybuilder, you have your animal packs. They have a very, very broad spectrum. For most people take their one-a-days or whatever it is. I don't have any preferred brand myself, but we'll be talking about that in a second. In the end, multivitamins are a kind of cover all your bases supplement. They're meant to make sure that you are not deficient in any one thing. In fact, more than a third of Americans take a multivitamin. That is, 1 out of every 3 people here in America takes a multivitamin. And a lot of people I don't really think understand the things that actually go into their body when they're taking them. Or what they do, or if you even really need one. So let's go ahead and break into that first. Let's find out who needs a multivitamin. 1 second. Sorry about that. Just getting kind of over this cough. So who needs a multivitamin? Chances are you've heard people say everyone should be on a multivitamin, and honestly, that's not really the case. If you like to take a multivitamin, you can, and there are really 3 criteria for when you should actually have a multivitamin. The first criteria is if you're at risk for several nutritional deficiencies and you cannot adapt your diet. So basically what that means is if you can't include foods to include the vitamins and minerals that you need, then you fall under that umbrella. The second one is if the dosage of that vitamin counteracts the deficiency. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. But you want to make sure that the dosage you're actually getting from the multivitamin that you're taking is enough to basically take care of the deficiency. And if the multivitamin is a better option than just buying the individual micronutrient on its own. So basically, does it cover, is it cheaper, or does it cover the nutrient that you actually need? Will it actually fix the deficiency? And are you at risk for those deficiencies and you can't get it through food? So basically, it is a supplement. It is meant to supplement your diet. It's not meant to replace or take control over. Ideally, you can be getting everything that you need from your diet, which means if you have a well-balanced diet, then you don't need a multivitamin because you should be getting all of the nutrients that you need in the food that you take. And there are exceptions too. So whatever you have going on, so say vegans, for example, the only way to get vitamin B12 is through animal products. So vegans need to supplement vitamin B12 specifically to get that. But if they're eating a well-balanced diet, and I'll throw who needs a multivitamin, if you are super picky when it comes to food and you don't eat a lot of different foods, that is a really good way to get that. Or if you honestly just can't afford to buy a giant variety of foods, a multivitamin might be a cheaper option because you can just throw a few bucks at it every month and you don't have to worry about buying all these different foods. So if you're super picky or you just don't have the money to buy all of the food that you need in order to supplement everything, which just speaking very candidly, can be kind of a cop-out, but that's where it comes from. And honestly, going through this, if you think about it, the people who need them are the people who unfortunately have a lower income, so that cost over time may become a factor if they can't always afford to buy that multivitamin. So there's that. The other thing is what to look for when you are actually buying a multivitamin. Multivitamins come in literally all shapes and sizes. I mentioned an animal pack, which has I think 12 or 13 capsules. You take it once a day and you're done. There's also the Centrum one a day, where you only take one capsule a day, or one capsule twice a day or something like that. I don't even know how those ones work, to be honest. And then you can go ahead and take those. The thing is, though, you need to look at the label to see what the recommended daily allowance amounts are. Because if you're taking a multivitamin and you have something that says 4 capsules, and you're taking 1 capsule and it says one serving has 100%, if you're only taking 1 out of the 4 capsules, you're really only taking 25% of what you need. So you want to be able to buy a multivitamin if you're looking for one that is close to the recommended daily allowances of the vitamins and minerals that you need. You'll see a lot of them have vitamin C at 18,000% of the daily value. That one you'll basically just kind of pee out, but you do need to be careful with a lot of things too, because there's always the chance that you can actually take too much of that nutrient. And then there's other issues that go on that are literally the opposite of things that, like vitamin C deficiency is you're a lot more likely to get scurvy if you don't have vitamin C, and things like that. So keep an eye out on that. Also keep in mind that when you're looking at that, some minerals actually cannot be supplemented all at once for negative health reasons, and some of them are very negative health reasons. These things are things like magnesium, like calcium, like potassium. They need to be supplemented in little amounts over the day, which means probably better off getting them from foods if you can. That way you're not just trying to overload it. And again, if you take the entire daily value all at once, there's some really bad things that can do. Potassium can do some serious damage to your stomach if you take it all at once. Look at the dosages of the extra ingredients. A lot of them actually have different special ingredients, especially if you're going to a store and they're trying to sell you into a more expensive one. The claims on there will be that they have all these extra antioxidants and all of these things, which can actually have an effect. I think it's called lycopene. I'm trying to remember the actual numbers, so don't hang me out to dry if these numbers are a little wrong. But I think lycopene has an effect on lowering your blood pressure if you take it every day in amounts greater than 12 milligrams or something like that. It's what I was reading earlier. So there will be different multivitamins that have the claim that it has lycopene in it, which means it will help lower your blood pressure. But then if you look at the dosing, it'll say it has a 0.5 milligram, which won't do anything for you, even if you're taking it daily, because the recommended dosage of that is about 12. So you need to keep an eye out for these things, and always do your due diligence. Never take a supplement without consulting and figuring out what you actually need, or consulting a doctor, or anything like that. Don't fall for the marketing is basically what I'm saying there. A lot of things will market the best multivitamin ever. This one specifies for joint health and things like that. You're taking a multivitamin to address deficiencies. That's it. That is all it is good for. It's usually not going to have any extra health benefits. That's what other things are for, so keep that in mind. And look at the price too. There's some out there that cost a ridiculous amount of money and aren't nearly as good as some ones that are cheaper. This is the one where you don't always get what you pay for. So look at the price and remember that it's a daily supplement and that cost is going to add up. So you want to make sure you're doing that. And when you're doing that, you can also look at the serving size. Like I was saying before, if you have 4 capsules in a serving and you have a bottle and there's another one that has 1 capsule in a serving, do the math and see how much one serving is actually costing you. And if it's a ridiculous amount of money, maybe you need to find a slightly better alternative. It's a really good plan to do that. That serving size is super important. So we have covered what a multivitamin actually is, who needs one, and what to look for. Before I go on, we are actually going to take a quick break.
You're listening to Derek Noel Fitness here on IPMNation.com/counterpunch. He'll bring the smarts. Now the sweat, well, that's up to you.
And we are back. It is about halfway through the show. Make sure if you'd like to call in, give us a ring. That phone number again is 810-412-5999. Phone lines are officially open. Feel free to call. You will be on the air, so just know that that's going to be happening. And yeah, if you have any questions so far, go ahead and drop them down. I'm going to spend the next little bit of time actually talking about some of the ingredients in multivitamins, specifically the vitamin parts, because a lot of people don't actually know what vitamins are good and what they actually do for you when you're taking them. So without further ado, we're going to be knocking this list out. And again, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you think I'm full of crap, I would love to be able to talk to you on the air. That would be fun. But we're just going to work through the list of all the different vitamins. You have, I believe it's 13 or 14 different essential vitamins. And I'm using the term essential very loosely because in the case of like vitamin D, technically your body produces it, but still most people need to supplement it. So I'm going to say what it is. I'm going to give a really quick overview of what each vitamin actually does, and then I'm going to give a few different options of how you can get it through your diet instead of a multivitamin. Because I don't know about you, but the less pills that I have to take, the generally happier I am. Plus, that just means I get to eat a lot of food, and I love me some food. We have, to start the list off, we're just going to start right with vitamin A. Vitamin A is used primarily in growth and cell development. So if we're deficient in that, our body has a harder time building cells or rebuilding cells or building new cells. And this one is really simple to get. You're going to see a lot of recurring things here, by the way, which means those are probably some foods you may or may not be eating right now. Maybe will be a good idea to add them in. You can get vitamin A really easily from things like fish, usually some white fish, egg yolks. You're going to see eggs come up a lot, and other dairy products like butter and stuff like that. So vitamin A is really easy to get through those different foods. Vitamin D aids in calcium absorption. You can get vitamin D from fatty fish, from butter, from egg yolks, and your body does naturally produce vitamin D, like I just said. Now, there's a caveat here. If you're taking a bunch of vitamin D, you also want to make sure that you are taking some magnesium, because the magnesium actually helps with the absorption of vitamin D. So you can be taking it in, but if your body isn't well prepared to actually absorb it, you're doing yourself a little disservice. You're not being as efficient as possible. And also remember that some of them are fat soluble, so in order for them to do their thing, you need to be taking them with a fat source, which if you're eating a fatty fish or butter or egg yolks, you're doing that, so that really helps out. Next up, we have vitamin E, which helps protect fatty acids in your body, because remember, you have a bunch of fatty acids in your body, omega-3s, omega-6s. There is a nice little ratio in terms of nutritional diet that you want to do. That's beyond the scope of this episode, though, so I believe I actually talked about it a few episodes back. You want to make sure that you're getting some nice omega-3s. Remember, your brain is literally made of fats, so keep that in mind when we're going through that. It also maintains muscle and blood cells, so it helps with the maintenance of those. It helps keep them up. It helps prevent them from getting damaged and helps them recover afterwards. And you can get vitamin E from, give you one guess, it starts with an E, eggs. Eggs is also good for vitamin E. You can also get them from nuts, seeds, and a bunch of different vegetable oils through that. Next up, we have vitamin K. Vitamin K is needed for proper blood clotting. So if you have some really if you have a really hard time with clotting, maybe you're lacking in vitamin K, again, ask a doctor, get the blood tests. You can get vitamin K pretty easily through spinach, broccoli. Really, green veggies are the way to go. And hold on 1 second. Should be good to go. Cool. Sorry about that. We actually had a little battery issue come up. So, our bad. I was just talking about vitamin K. In case you couldn't hear me through any of that, I'm just going to repeat myself real quick. Vitamin K is needed for proper blood clotting, and you can get it through spinach, broccoli, and green vegetables. Really good to have. Now let's talk about vitamin C. Vitamin C is basically the holy grail of vitamins when people talk about it. It is actually very important. So supplementing a vitamin C is usually a pretty good idea, even if you eat a bunch of citrus, because citric acid is basically vitamin C. You can take that. You can eat any citrus has it. There's a few other veggies. Potatoes actually have it. And what vitamin C does is it helps strengthen your blood vessel walls, which will help prevent other like blood-related diseases like atherosclerosis. It promotes wound healing, so it helps your body heal wounds faster. It helps with iron absorption because iron is another thing that a lot of people, women in particular, are deficient in. So having vitamin C really helps with iron absorption as well. So if you have poor iron absorption or low iron numbers, vitamin C is always going to be a good thing to take. And a bunch of other things. Vitamin C is a big one. And like I was saying, you can literally get it from eating citrus. So if you eat an orange or you throw some lemons or some limes in whatever, you can get it through that. Or if you just buy your vitamin C capsules, there you go. And that's by the way, that's the reason that a lot of vitamin C capsules actually taste like citrus or have that like citrusy aftertaste, is because it's citric acid. So it's really, really good to be able to have that as well. From there, we have a bunch of different B vitamins. There are actually a lot of B vitamins. First off, I'm going to say which B vitamin it is, and I'm going to give it another name, because a lot of times if you look at the label, they won't necessarily say vitamin B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, blah, blah, blah. They'll say thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, stuff like that. So I'm going to give you both the names, and then we'll talk about it. The first one is vitamin B1, which is thiamine. The thiamine helps maintain the digestive system and nervous system. And you can get this one through pork, or you can get them from nuts, seeds, other legumes. So things like that will really help out with getting your thiamine, or vitamin B1. Vitamin B2 is riboflavin, which helps with energy metabolism and adrenal function. So it helps keeping your energy levels up, which is why if you look in a bunch of different energy drinks or fat burners or anything that claims to keep your energy up, it's got a lot of B vitamins in it. There are a lot of B vitamins that actually deal with energy levels and metabolism and energy. I'm not saying that having them will specifically increase your metabolism, but let's just say it's better off that you do not form a deficiency in them. Excuse me. So vitamin B2, riboflavin, energy metabolism, adrenal function, which is also really good. And you can get that from lean meats, which again is going to show up quite often on this list. And grains and raw mushrooms are also a really good source of vitamin B2. Next up, we have vitamin B3, or niacin. So we have thiamine, riboflavin, and then we have niacin, which helps metabolize energy, and it promotes growth of the cells, which is really good. Again, you can get this one from lean meats, milk, eggs, legumes. So far what we're seeing is, and keep in mind that I'm in no way knocking veganism or vegetarianism or anything like that, but typically if you eat eggs and meat, you're going to be getting a lot of these things automatically, and you won't really have to supplement them. Niacin is vitamin B3, so remember that one. You have vitamin B5, which is pantothenic acid. This one is actually kind of important for regulating your blood sugar. So if you're deficient in that, you might have some slight issues regulating blood sugar. And again, energy metabolism. So that's going to be the recurring thing. And the nice thing about vitamin B5 is it's in basically everything you can ever eat. So you're almost guaranteed to never be deficient in vitamin B5, which is really nice. So if it's in there, you can kind of just write that one off because, again, you're getting it from whatever food you're going on. It's really just going to be a filler in that multivitamin. From there, we have vitamin B6, which is pyridoxine. Again, helps with metabolism. It helps with different functions in the body. It helps with red blood cell production and muscle production. And this one you can find in lean meats, but also in fish, actually in bananas, in green veggies, and potatoes. So if you, in case you needed more reasons to eat potatoes besides the fact that they're delicious and they're actually a really good source of a carbohydrate, or you're just Irish and you love potatoes, then vitamin B6 is definitely there. And again, that's one's pyridoxine. Like I was saying, you're going to be seeing the big fancy names instead of just like vitamin B, insert number here. The next one is vitamin B7, which is biotin. This one also deals with energy metabolism and the actual breaking down of foods through that process. And you can get this one through eggs, again, egg yolks specifically, some other grains, and some nuts. So that was biotin. And then we have vitamin B9, which is actually a kind of important one, especially for women who become pregnant. There are actually two different versions that you can get. One is folate, and the other one is folic acid. And you'll actually see these in a lot of prenatal vitamins. This may be me digressing over into prenatals a little bit. Keep in mind, I am not an expert on prenatal health, but I do know that folate and folic acid really do help and are directly tied with the healthy development of children. So a lot of women who take a prenatal vitamin or decide to try and become pregnant start supplementing to make sure that they have enough. And folate and folic acid are both versions of B9, which helps with the development of DNA, RNA. It helps with red blood cell counts. Excuse me. And, geez, okay, I've got to get rid of this. And it helps with the synthesizing of amino acids. So it helps build amino acids, which are the building blocks of proteins. So it's also a good way to help make sure that your development of muscle fibers is up there as well. So make sure that we are taking vitamin B9 and make sure you're getting a nice healthy source of that. It's a little bit harder to get that one. Green veggies and stuff like that is always a good option. But again, vitamin B9, especially if you're trying to become pregnant or you are pregnant, is going to be one that you want to supplement with. And again, obviously, talk to your doctor because they are the people who are definitely more qualified than me. In fact, you should always get advice from your medical doctor because people on Instagram usually have an ulterior motive. So make sure that you are getting that information from them instead of the internet or Netflix, which is a whole other thing that I could talk about. And then the last one we have is vitamin B12, which I'm not gonna lie, I actually forgot to write down the full name of this one, but it starts with a C. It's kind of a weird C name. I'm sure someone who's watching could probably drop that in the comments. But vitamin B12 helps with red blood cells, with DNA, building RNA, and mycelium, I can't remember exactly how to pronounce it, but it's it really helps with the nervous system. It helps with your nerve fibers. Words are really hard today, magically. And vitamin B12, I said at the beginning when I was talking about vegan diets, people who do follow purely vegan diets do have to supplement vitamin B12 because it is only found in animal products. And vegans don't eat any animal products, period. So they do need to supplement that. So if you have any vegan friends who are not, maybe give them the suggestion or have them talk to their doctor about what they do need to be supplementing to follow a diet like that. And again, make sure, and again, if you are a vegan who is listening to this show, make sure you're getting your advice from a real qualified medical doctor, because there are other things and other, quote, certifications where people are starting to call themselves doctors, even though they do not have a medical degree or even a doctorate in another field of study. So make sure you get those things. Again, all of the common ingredients are the vitamins, with the exception of vitamin B5 because it's in everything. I can do a whole other breakdown of what the different minerals do, but again, that's a whole other ball game. I just didn't have enough time to talk about everything today. If you have any questions, please drop them in the lines before. Yeah, that's what it is. Heidi actually found the name of vitamin B12, which is cobalamin, which I don't remember why I didn't remember that. I had this one down. So when you're looking at the labels, and make sure you're looking at labels before you buy them. When in doubt, take a picture and send it to someone who you know would. Whether that's me, I would love to actually give a breakdown, and it really wouldn't take me that much time. So if you would like that, you can always DM me a picture of a nutrition label, and I will tell you if it's good or bad, or things to watch out for. Besides that, though, I think we've had a pretty decent show. Really not too many questions. I am looking super forward to being back 100%. Every Sunday, you'll be able to check us out here on Derek Noel Fitness Live. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/TheDerekNoel. On IPM Nation, you can actually watch or listen. You can do both on there. So on IPM Nation, if you would like to watch us, you can watch it at ipmnation.com/DNF for Derek Noel Fitness, or you can listen to us at ipmnation.com/Counterpunch, or if you search us on YouTube, you can find us at Counterpunch Media on YouTube. That's our channel. I'm super excited for Brian Brody to be back with his show as well on Counterpunch Media. So make sure you give him a listen, give him a follow. And you can always find me on Instagram. Shoot me a message. I would love to be able to chat with people. You can find me at the Derek Noel on Instagram as well. That being said, this has been an awesome episode. Hopefully you get something out of it. April, real quick, has a question before we're going off the air. When you have a broken bone, which ones do you take? Typically, when you have a broken bone, my number one suggestion is always going to be talk to your doctor who's dealing with said broken bone. But calcium is actually going to be a priority. You just want to make sure calcium, again, is one of those supplements that you can't take all at once in the day. So doing things like drinking milk and doing that to help rebuild that bone are going to be really, really helpful. And calcium is, good, but you also need to watch it because calcium kind of counteracts magnesium, because they do two opposite things, and vitamin D. So like calcium kind of, yeah, it's a big, long process. Have the doctor talk. My suggestion would be ask them specifically about calcium to see what they can do for you. That's going to be my best. That's going to be my best answer. Hopefully that helps you out, April. I'm assuming you were talking because your husband broke his femur, which is a really hard bone to break. And yeah, hopefully that helps you out. This has been an awesome show. Welcome back to the show. Have a great night, everyone.